Coders and developers rejoice. AI is crapping the bed. Yes, it is. So what's going on? So a big report came out recently where basically companies are not getting the ROI, the return on investment they had hoped with the AI. Phew. So lots of problems. Also, on the flip side, AI hype has died down, so the big, massive AI crazy hiring has calmed down a bit. This is normal. This is normal in the cycle of software development. I've been saying for years now, since AI hit the scene, when you had all the doomers coming out there, no. The reason you haven't found jobs if you're a junior is because you were used to the weird boom cycle because of COVID and the stupid lockdowns, where everybody and their neighbors were hiring like crazy. It was something called a defensive hire. This video is sponsored by Savala. Savala is a platform as a service, a modern hosting platform with transparent pricing. You know what you get. No hidden fees. You pay only for what you use. No surprise bills or limits. Seamlessly deploy and host your apps, databases, and static sites with cloud-native performance with the ease you love from Heroku without its aging tech or high cost. Enjoy unlimited collaborators, unlimited parallel builds, and no fixed plans. Leverage Google Kubernetes engine across 25 regions, plus Cloudflare for best-in-class reliability and speed. Native support for trunk-based and Git flow workflows means your team deploys just like Heroku. Preview your changes instantly with preview apps and static sites, and launch in one click with ready-built templates. Get started free with a $50 credit, link below. And so they were hiring everybody and their neighbors. If you just did a React course and put up some projects you copied from that course on GitHub, you could probably get a job because they were just desperate. The problem is a lot of people who got jobs then, they simply were not good enough to get jobs in a normal cycle. But because it was a weird time, the COVID time, people got jobs. But now it's normalized. Maybe it's dipped below normal, so it's harder for juniors to get a job. So it's going back to what it is normally. You have to be able to show something real. So what I've been teaching for many, many years now stands true. You learn your fundamentals. You go do 2 to 3 small little projects, freelance projects for free. A local nonprofit. I just had a nonprofit reach out to me looking for developers to help them on something. This is the type of thing that you do as a noob to get your foot in the door. You have to think of the first 2 or 3 little jobs that you do as a developer as your stage work, the last stage of learning. You're not very valuable to somebody if you've just done a few tutorials, especially if you've just done something online or at some boot camp. Many boot camps simply don't teach people properly, and they don't know what they're doing because most of the boot camp teachers have never actually written professional code. Most of the doomsayers about AI, by the way, I believe the vast majority of them have actually not worked in the real world of development. They see all these code generation tools that all the code generation that the AI is pushing out, and they assume that's coding. Oh my God, that's development. Look at all that code. Oh my God, that's only a part of development. That said, I still think you've got to learn to use AI to either there's 2 types of ways you can use AI to develop apps. 2 types of ways. There are 2 ways you can use AI to develop apps. You can use it to augment, accelerate traditional development, which you should do. And number 2, which I think is much more interesting, you should get into AI first development. Basically developing apps are basically like 90% AI and 10% traditional. That's the way, to me, you're going to see the biggest opportunity. In the last 3 weeks, I've had 4 companies approach me about AI, about developing some sort of application that was AI first, something that AI allowed to happen that you couldn't do with traditional development, or it would be super difficult. The problem with AI is that if you just hit a large language model, whether it be GPT-5 or 4 or Gemini or Grok or whatever, you hit it without proper prompts and training, it's going to get maybe 90% of it right. But that last 10% is everything. That last 10% is the raison d'être for developing with AI, right? If your implementation of the AI doesn't deal with that last 10%, right, it's pointless. You get all kinds of wrong answers and it puts you down the wrong path. It's not a good situation. That last 10% is key, and that's where the prompting and the edge case mitigation is what comes into play. So what's edge case mitigation? You have to provide a framework, number one, for the AI. So you provide a very precise, structured framework that the AI, the LLM will work within. And then you got to deal with these outlier events, the edge cases, and you got to specifically say, well, if this happens, you do this. If that happens, you do this. If this happens, you do this. So this is what I've been doing for the last 3.5, 4 months with my custom GPT I developed. I call it BRAD. It's a fitness GPT, fitness and health, based on principles that I've leveraged to lose like 50, 60 pounds. And so I decided to create the GPT to automate certain processes. It really makes the process a lot more fun. But if you just use the LLM alone, without all the prompt and without all the prompt engineering I've implemented and all the edge case management I put into place, it would be still pretty good. But I made it like 100 times better. But it took me months of back and forth, seeing what its behavior was. AI is powerful. You should use it, blah, 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 blah. But it's not a panacea. It is not this super intelligence that's coming to wreck all the jobs and destroy the economy. That's all a bunch of BS. It's just a bunch of BS. I've seen this before in other technologies where people, if it ever gets there, it's going to take time. And we can see that when we went from GPT-4 recently to GPT-5, they busted a bunch of things. You see, what that tells you is AI is brittle. AI development, model development is brittle. If AI development was this AGI adjacent thing, a super powerful thing that was incredible and can make soup and chicken easily, GPT-5 wouldn't have broken a bunch of custom GPTs in GPT-4. One of the major complaints, the headline complaint with GPT-5 over 4 is that it lost its personality. Fine. That's a minor aspect of it. It totally destroyed, why shouldn't it say it? It really messed up my custom GPT I spent months training. So yeah. Now, this is early days, and they also removed memory. I was dependent on memory within the GPT, and they took it out. So that's a risk point, right? It gives me pause using public models, or private models rather, like OpenAI's models, where they can just switch the switch on you and mess up all your work in your application. That's just dumb. Them removing access to the previous models and then this forcing GPT-5 on everybody was a mistake. They reversed it. They released 4.0 back again. They shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do that, because if you have a business and it's dependent on model, GPT-4, and all of a sudden you change it, this is like a basic rule in software development. You don't do that. You don't change underlying APIs and code bases without letting everybody know. It's like in all the programming languages, they will deprecate a feature before they remove it. And oftentimes, deprecated features are never removed. What's a deprecation? Deprecation of a feature set or classes or certain aspects of programming language or whatever libraries. A deprecation means we are going to be removing this at some point in the future. So don't, and it's a kind of a warning, don't develop with it. But what experience has taught me over the last 30 years, most of the time deprecated features do not disappear because there's dependencies. People use it. I can understand the obsessive compulsive nerd impulse to want to remove and clean up languages and remove old libraries. don't do it unless you absolutely need to because of security or something like that. It's a security hole or something that could affect everything. There's lots of old code out there that's perfectly functional. And to have some higher power like OpenAI or whoever remove it without telling people is silly and stupid. So that was a mistake they make. I'm sure they'll correct it, and they're correcting it. Removing access to the old GPTs, the old models, was not a good move. Removing access to Force, so that's why they reversed it. Forcing everybody onto the new models before they could test it on the new models. Imagine my MVP, my custom GPT is just an MVP. It's a beta, if you will, alpha release. So I didn't care. It was annoying, but I didn't have thousands of clients on it, users on it. That would have been a disaster. So hopefully OpenAI will learn from their mistake and will not do that. They should keep the old models in place so that people can switch over at their leisure. They should handle model retirement much in the same way that people will handle deprecation of functionality within a programming language, for example. All right. I hope this is useful. Cheers. So if you want to learn how to code from me, I'm one of the world's oldest developers. I had a full head of hair when I started developing. Then I wrote some Ruby code, and look what happened. So word of warning, word of caution. I'm here to teach you what I've learned the hard way over the last 3 decades. Wow. That's it. If you want to sign up to my Fit Over 50 training program, which is AI assisted, it's very innovative. It is a program that's very different from anything else you're going to see out there, and it works. And it works because it's based on the fundamental thing that means the difference between those who get healthy and in shape and feel good and those who don't follow through on the program. The major issue, the number one issue by far, is retraining your impulsive self, your lizard brain. Most people will drop out and stop doing what they need to do to get in shape because programs that are like gym bro programs were like, yo, bro, you got to push, bro. Mindset, bro. That's nothing. That's BS. You have to build into the program, we'll call it mechanisms and tactics that automatically start rewiring your impulsive brain, your urges, your emotions, so that you are pushed towards healthy habits. Once you have that rewiring in place, it becomes natural for you. Anyway, that's what the whole program is about. That's the basis of it anyway. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in there as well. So if you understand now that being in shape is hugely important in terms of your quality of life, your mental capacity, everything really. Yeah. Check it out below. Steph's, what's my program called? I'm old, I forget things. It's called Fit Over 50. And it's very different from anything else. And it's beta release now. You can sign up below to the newsletter. I'm going to give free access to the first bunch of people who join. I just uploaded 23, 24, 25 training videos. And the AI is ready to go. Works pretty good. And all I need from you guys for joining for free is just give me feedback. What do you think about it? What do you like? What you don't like? Eventually, if enough people like it, I'm going to turn it into it's a full community and program and training, ongoing video training, and so on. All right, I'll stop here. Bye.
Thank you.